Good morning. Welcome to the world of conscious positive thinking with MJ, where your thoughts become your power and your mindset becomes your compass. MJ is here to guide you through a journey of self-awareness, emotional mastery, and empowered living.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Want to make
Yeah, man. Just feel it. Let it flow. Peace and love in the air, you know. Woke up with the sun on my face. Breathing deep in this holy space. Feeling good, no need to race. The rhythm of life moves at its pace. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky. Love in our hearts, no need to ask why. Dance with the trees, sing with the breeze. The world of conscience puts the mind at ease. Colors swirl in my open mind. Truth and joy in the thoughts I find. A smile's the cure, a word's the key. Positive thinking sets you free. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky.
Hey, holy macaronis. Welcome. You are right here on Military Broadcast Radio. I am MJ, and today my story is You Hateful Shrew, right here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, episode 74, and we are going to get to it. However, we all know what happens when we get to a beautiful moon, and we have to go through the angels first, and then we're going to start talking why there's so much hate. There's a lot of hate energy going around, and just listen. I want you to become aware of the word hate. Yeah, hate. Wow, that's a big, powerful word. That's almost like the F word to me when we say hate, because that is a total commitment of our heart chakra. And we're going to dive deep because it's getting very profound. And I found it to be profound in my journey in 3 months. No matter what state I went to, no matter what campground, no matter where I became this nomad for 3 months with my husband, there was always with the hate word. And then when I realized that hate started bleeding into friends and family of just different things, I'm like, wow, that's a powerful word, hate. Wow, I don't know where all that comes from. However, maybe today we're going to figure that out, why there's so much hate. But we need to start with angel. What is our angels trying to tell us today on June the 1st, 2020? My gosh, I can't believe 2026 is going. That fire horse is racing to the freaking finish here, man. That is something. And I'm so happy because my sound team today is Jewel Hunt. You know him from H Train. And I am so happy that he's in our studio today. So maybe he might have some words of wisdom as well sooner or later for 2 hours. But let's get to angel numbers. Here we go. 060126. It is a 6 in an angel number. It's very important time to nurture yourself on all levels. Eating healthy food, drinking apple water, and sleeping well will assist you in maintaining a healthy body. Creating a peaceful ambience will also nourish your soul. The angels recommend bringing harmony to your environment and beautiful flowers and music and crystals. Don't forget the crystals. I know people say they don't work, but they're from Earth. They must work because Earth is our balance. Earth is our frequency. So be careful when we say crystals don't work. Maybe you don't have the right crystal. We'll get to that. Anyway, angel power word today. Woo! Family. It's so fun. Like, I have to laugh because I woke up this morning and I had text upon text all about family and a phone call all about family. Everything was about family this morning. So I find it very funny that, not funny, haha, but funny coinky dinkies that the angel power word today is family. Also, we go into the number 60 today because that is part of that 0601. So 60. Hand over any concerns that you have about your family or your family members. Please know that the angels are around you now, providing extra support, love, and healing. You can also assist the angels by visualizing your family members being surrounded with the colors of pink and green every day. If you have family eruptions, or we're talking about family, go find a unakite. There's your crystal, unakite. Why? Unakite allows from your heart chakra all the way down to your roots, and it balances everything out in harmony, and it allows for anything that's negative to either go around or to be learned at that moment. So I love that those colors are pink and green. Your angel numbers today also contains the number 26. We all know because every Monday we get that number. Angels know that you feel empowered when you feel compassion for others. Now they're asking you to feel the same compassion for yourself. And it's really, really important that you say no to requests that make you feel uneasy or that you don't feel to be part of. Step back, figure out those feelings, and then move forward. Trust these sensations in the body, that these are your inner compasses of intuition. Number also contains the number 12. So today that number has 12 in it, and it's now time to ask your angels to show you a complete picture. When you do that, the angel's going to deliver that beautiful knowledge, whether it be in sleep or meditation or just an aha moment. It's that finer details of regarding any situation. Archangel Michael's army, here we are, is also surrounding and giving you the strength to stand up, to be true to yourself. Wow, that's beautiful. So I love giving you guys every morning. I always tell you I wake up and look at, except for the day that I'm on the radio, I never look at my angel words in the morning until I'm here, because it's always that that inspiring aha, like kind of giggle going, oh, you are just beautiful. And so you interact so beautifully with messages that are trying to be put out. Now, let's try to get this one in. If you didn't notice, May, our beautiful Taurus, the bull zodiac, had 2 full moons. So when you have 2 full moons in 1 month, we call it a blue moon. It only happens once in a blue moon. And so that is our blue moon, May 30th. If you kind of, this weekend was kind of, oof, I can't sleep, I'm kind of, woo, let's dive in to see what that is, okay? Because that full blue moon energy, that spiritual energetic perspective, it's like, how do I want to say it? It's a powerful moment that we as individuals use for completion and expansion. Full moons always illuminate what has been hitting, or what has been troubling, or what hasn't been dealt with on a full moon. So now you look at all these things to heal them, and it is the moon to go forward to release what no longer serves a purpose in our beings. So on a blue moon, that signifies and illuminates bringing awareness to patterns that we have. So if you are somebody who keeps saying, oh my God, here I go again. Why does this always happen to me? What is happening? So that these full moons, especially this one, this blue moon, is about patterns. Are you becoming aware of patterns in your life? So this is going to help us understand and be aware of some type of pattern. Maybe it's in the beliefs, maybe it's in relationships and opportunities that may have been waiting for that perfect moment to emerge, because the energy is helping you to go forward with whatever change is needed, or the awareness of change is needed. Does that make sense? I hope so, because our moon energies with the energies of the earth really play a huge dynamic. And then with this energy of the moon, then ask yourselves these questions. What am I ready to release? What truth is seeking my expressions? Where is my soul calling me to grow? And what new passage or what new doorway is opening before me that I hadn't realized prior to this awareness? The blue moon literally acts like a cosmic spotlight, like that spotlight beaming on my head right now, It's like, you're pointing with all my new equipment. Thank you, MB Radio. I said, I don't know how to maneuver because I'm a hand talker. We all know that. I'm Italian, so my hands go. Anyway, we're revealing both our gifts and our shadows. Oh, our shadows, the shadow work. Everyone's so stressed when it comes to shadow work because it's deep, it's dark, it's low vibration. But when we do the shadow work, it's no longer there. It becomes into the consciousness. And then we'll be aware of that. And we're like, okay, well, I don't have to deal with this ever again. So there went that pattern. So as far as many spiritual practitioners during the full moon, this associated full moon energy is heightened receptively with intuition. Our intuition now is going to be guiding us. And those themes are like soul expansions, our spiritual awakening of aha moments, increasing of our psychic, like our third eye, our psychic sensitivities, or our divine feminine wisdom. Even if you're male, the best balance is understanding that male female energies that we have. So I always tell people, you can do it, men, because as a female, I was able to go into man sports. I was able, not footballs and stuff, but I got to play sports, right? I got that, my testosterone through. I was in the military. I was in fishing. I was in hunting. I was in snake wrangling. I was in Everglades hiking. These are no longer a male female type of position. So here, when it says divine feminine wisdom, I truly believe that's an enlightenment for men in this realm, or women who have more testosterone energy than estrogen energy, men to become aware. Then we have emotional purification, manifestations through release. Energetically, this is less about attracting and more about creating space within our vicinity or in our realm. So before something new starts to come and enters into our realm, something old often has to depart. The old cliche of the hoarder trying to buy everything, where they're like, be minimal. If you're going to buy something, make sure you remove something, right? So we don't overstack. So in our chakras that are most related now to this energy, and it's the top of our head, of course, focus, it's divine connection, it's spiritual downloads, it's trusting the universal thing. You may notice at nights, or you may notice vivid dreamings right now, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a little bit of today, because how the full moon works is it's always 24 hours prior and 24 hours after. So even though the 30th was the primal date where it landed to be full, those 24 hours leading each way, there are some people who feel effects. You can get into people who are very connected to Mother Earth or into celestial galactic energies, and they'll tell you that they feel these energies 3 or 4 days prior to the moon and 3 and 4 days after, which, kind of makes sense if you're in that vibration. So vivid dreaming, synchronicities, and increased intuition, these are all heightened awarenesses in order to keep going across that hurdle that we sometimes get blocked in. And of course, then we have our third eye. Our third eye is always about focus, inner knowledge, vision, clarity. This you may experience now with the moon is strong intuitive insights, enhanced meditations, and seeing situations differently. I love that because that's my thing. I love to flip radials of discussion or events. You can see your truth in an event, but maybe that truth doesn't take our part. So when I say you, it means all of us. I'm not fingering anybody out here, but it is it's an event that we hold, and we're like, is anybody else feeling this? Well, it doesn't really matter, because we are such an individual, just like our fingerprints, that we have to use whatever energies that God gives us, whether it be from Mother Earth, whether it be from the sun, whether it be from the galactics, whether it be from angelic vaults, wherever it is. If it's our time to learn this life lesson, we have to go through it. We welcome it. As hard as it is, try to put that smile on your face, because it is that smile that's going to remove those lower vibrations and trick the ego, so we have no judgment to go forward. Our heart chakra during this, normally our heart chakra is forgiveness, compassion, there's my word of the year, and emotional healing. The full moon asks us to release emotional burdens that we've carried far too long within our heart chakra. If we can't forgive, our heart chakra does not allow. If we can't have compassion, and if we are full of emotional sadness or depression, we still have to clear these, because this emotional burden we carried way too long within our heart chakra until all the other things are just going to start, like their centers aren't going to work anymore. So emotional strain and challenges, a full blue moon is often amplifies whatever that has been like just kind of pushed to the side in the background. So common experiences include emotional sensitivity, restlessness, so trying to get to sleep and you just can't, relationship revaluations. So where are we in our relationships? Where are we to reevaluate, moving of going forward? Difficult sleeping, feeling pulled down, burdened, with old versions to the new versions of ourselves. Are we staying in an old paradigm that we have to let go of, and it's hard to let go due to maybe some of the people who are in our realm? That's a little bit difficult to do, and I'm not going to sit here. I can preach what to do, but I'm going to sit here and tell you it's difficult, it's emotional, it's heartfelt, and it's a struggle. And I always tell a lot of my clients, listen, I understand, but you've already lived through the event. This isn't an event that is new if you're struggling with it, right? So if you have grief surfacing for the healing, that grief isn't new. So tell yourself, and I know it's kind of hard, but sometimes I'm, old Knox here, and I nearly tell my ego, stop it. I don't need to feel this. Stop with the emotional side. Show me the learning side. Just stop, right? I pull back. I don't like to be sad and depressed, nor does anybody. But when that happens, we need to push through and rip it like a Band-Aid and clear, balance, align, and let go as soon as possible. A lot of people who, when you're trying to do this, are not, they're in this very low vibration, and they're not willing to say, I forgive, or they're not willing to do what you want. And then this causes this emotional strain that this blue moon can cause. It's like, I'm trying to move forward and I'm not, because there is free will of others, right? When you have free will of others, it's their choice. And if they choose not to be aligned or be balanced or have forgiveness, that's on them. You no longer carry that karma because your heart chakra became open. Make sense? So rather than resisting the feelings, witness them and ask, what is this emotion teaching me? And every emotion carries that information. So our heart does pull our strings a lot, and sometimes we don't even understand why it's pulling our strings. And so in that aspect, it gets to be, you have to just step back, become aware, step back, pull back, and say, okay, thank you, and push through it. Just keep pushing through. So during this energy, I always give I change up my prayers. So my Hindus are always into my demigods of my highest developer, who Father, Mother, God. So in Hindu, that deity aligns for the blue energy moon. One of the most powerful deities to work with this energy would be Lord Shiva. What does Lord Shiva represent? Transformation, release, spiritual awakening, destruction of illusions. Remember, illusions can be fooled, right? That Maya illusion is always a foolish illusion. So be careful when we talk about illusions of what is actual factual and what really is not. So be careful of destructive illusions. We call those the Maya illusion, because the Maya illusion wants to give you like, oh, you're going to win the lottery, and it peps you up. But then what happens? You never win the lottery, and now you just get depressed because you had the illusion that you're going to win it. They're called Maya illusions. And sometimes they happen with these once in a lifetime blue moon. Once in a blue moon. So be careful with those types of illusion. You're better off maybe that you can say, I know that wealth is coming to me. I know that prosperity is coming to me. Why? Because I'm allowed to be, and I deserve to be what it is that I will. And you're willing the amount energy your way. You're allowing that prosperity. So This is how we get along with destructive illusions. So we don't get ourselves more in a rabbit hole or, a hamster wheel of saying, well, I prayed on the lotto and I did this in the lotto and the illusion that I got in my meditation, I won the lotto. That's great manifestation, but remember that is a Maya illusion. You can't have 100% faith because how long is it going to take for that to happen? So if it's a readily thing, just be aware of what we wish for, what we manifest, and how our illusions are attracting our knowledge on a daily basis. And then the very last one for this one is creation of a new pathway. The old structures no longer support our growth. Shiva helps clear out the way for new beginnings. So how's it work, Mary Jo? We're gonna sit here. So when we do Shiva Mala mantras for this energy to help remove the obstacles or help remove any of the divine self within. So now we're gonna bow to the divine self within, and it is Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya 108 times every single day, 108 times. It is on a mala. You can do the beads. You can do it during the moonlight. And it's the best time. Once you get the moonlight, it's that moonlight energy that's hitting you. Then you go focusing on releasing all the old energetic patterns that don't fit you today. Ask them for help to remove these energetic patterns. If this is you constantly, or this is always happening, or here we go again, or I don't know what the hell I have to do to get out of this cycle. So if these are your words, pay attention, because this is your moon. This is your moon of awareness that you are allowing things, to get pulled back. So just keep that in mind on those old releases, and always offer gratitude. Thank you so much for being the catalyst to teach me this lesson. Thank you so much, Father, Mother, God, for the awareness that I could finally remove this. Thank you, Lord Shiva, for assisting me in the prayers that are taking me that forward relations going forward. Good morning, Tony. Yes. What are you saying? MJ, bringing positive. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, that's one of our DJs here on NBR. He does the Who's Your Mind. I love following him, especially during my college football, because he just plays Penn State so well. Even though he's a Hoosier fan, I get it, but he talks about it, and I love that. So follow Tony on the minds of the Hoosiers. So back to our energies. So new beginnings and our new openings. The blue moon creates a bridge between completion and creation. So potential openings might include new relationships being aligned within your authentic self, new spiritual studies and practices, or career opportunities that reflect your purpose of where your road is to lead you, greater self-worth and confidence within ourselves, healing ancestral patterns, there's the word patterns, right? And deeper trust in our intuition. That gut feeling, that beautiful, good morning, Lulu. It's within our guts, right? You just know. And then when you don't make that gut decision and you find that the decision was made and you're like, I changed my gut decision. Why? That your gut is clairsentient, right? That's your breadbasket. That's your heat of all. That is close to the soul. That's right there. So we try, right? Not you don't, but we try hard our first choice or our first tuition, especially if you understood it to begin with. Don't second guess yourself. Maybe there's a learning life lesson. Maybe there's something else there. Maybe, you're going to meet somebody in going through this journey, or maybe there's a new venue waiting for you, a new beginning for you. There's always so many different possibilities that it's just an amazing thing. So the key message here, release first and then receive second. We're going to release it to receive it. Nature teaches us that a tree must let go of old leaves before new growth appears, right? Follow the tree. We are so similar to a tree with our blueprints. So choosing a reflection of the blue moon, it just reminds us that the rare moon created rare opportunities. What feels like an ending may actually be a sacred beginning or opening for you. So don't ever fear losing of somebody or something. Have the faith that you and God made this to happen, either to understand, to apologize, to forgive, to honor, to release, to become aware, to understand the energies. There's a plethora of reasons why we go through certain events in our life, right? You know, my events, I always end up going back to PTSD. And I want to make something very clear, especially for those of you who are listening on the military channel who are not military. When I talk about PTSD, please understand that does not necessarily have to be a military, a police officer, any first responder. You could have PTSD traumas, right? Because it means that it's a traumatic event, right? And we go through traumatic events, even as children. If a child was severely injured when they were 5 or 6 years old, here you go, a cast iron radiator fell on me, a radiator, I don't know what you call it. But anyway, those big things, right? There was like 400 pounds. And one of those fell. I broke the whole right side of my body. I mean, it was awful. So that alone, so when I see stuff, I had to heal that. So you can do stuff like that, heal these traumatic events, or you remember something of in school, whether you were bullied or really hurt in school, or maybe within a family or a parent or a friend, something that really traumatic hurt you, that you had nightmares over, you kept thinking about it. So these are also, it's time to reflect that, and it's time to start letting them go because you lived through it. I'm really hard sometimes on myself, and I will tell my ego, stop it. I've already lived through it. I just need to heal it. Stop making me emotional with it. So it's okay. Talk to yourself. It'll just make people wonder if you're really crazy. And because I know MJ said, talk to my ego. So I sometimes do. I go, hey, up there, I understand you were trained by man. I want to be trained in my heart by God. I want the I am Christ-like. I want the positive beauty. I want the positive consciousness. So if I have to say I'm sorry, or I have to look at a situation where I believe that I had tried to cover everybody's corner, but I ended up hurting somebody, then I look at it going, did I really hurt you? Or is this a homsakasen? Is this a facing yourself because of truth? So, yeah. Good morning, Janet. So that's what it's going to feel like. So the ending may actually be a sacred opening for you. Trust the clearing. Trust the unfolding. Trust the wisdom of your soul. As the moon shines light upon our earth, may it illuminate the path already waiting within us and within you. Blessings, clarity, and abundance of new beginnings to all of us in this beautiful, beautiful blue moon. So if you're in it, stay in it. Don't give up. If you need help, reach out. You can see it on the screen somewhere there where you can, it's TWOCPT, so you don't have to spell the world of conscious positive thinking out, because that's a lot of words and a lot of typing and a lot of, AI and autocorrect wanting to correct your words. So now you just put TWOCPT, TWOCPT. And you can do it to mbradio.us, or you could do it to @gmail. Either one, it'll get to me sooner or later, and I will help you, and we'll discuss, and we'll go through these. So now I need to take a minute, and then when we come back, we are going to talk about being a hateful shrew. Even if you are a man, it's kind of a neat word. We're going to discuss it. We're going to find out why there's so much hate, and we're going to figure out how to bring that joy back into our life and have just a little bit of harmony. All right. Listen to mbradio.us. I'm MJ right here on TWOCPT, the world of conscious positive thinking, every Monday at 9 o'clock. And I'll catch you in a minute.
Dream big, start small, but most of all, start.
Whenever things get rough or it feels like you're at the edge, remember this: storms pass.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
You've got this. Even if today feels tough, your best chapter is just around the pond.
Whenever things get rough or it feels like you're at the edge, remember this: storms pass.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Small steps still get you to big places. Keep paddling.
Whenever things get rough or it feels like you're at the edge, remember this: storms pass.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
Welcome back. Here we are. Are we ready? You hateful shrew. So I have to let everybody know I'm a big Bang fan. Huge Big Bang fan. And I find it so coinky-dinky that some of the stuff that they talk about bridges science and spiritual realms together, especially when we talk about spooky relativity, or we talk about quantum entanglement. That's just who I am. I love body frequencies to heal, earth frequencies to heal emotion patterns and stuff like this. The episode I was listening to that just happened to catch my awareness of the word hate is where Leonard's father was divorcing Leonard's mother, and he comes in and he says, "Hello, you old something," and he goes, "Well, hello, hello, my hateful shrew." And I was like, okay, there's a lot of hate. Why is there so much hate going on in the world? So the phrase itself, "you hateful shrew," is usually supposed to be like an insult. Not usually. I'd say 98% of the time it's made as an insult. And hateful meanings hostility, bitterness, spite, or just an ill will to somebody. Where the shrew just is it's a very old term traditionally used for a woman who is perceived as constantly nagging, scolding, quarrelsome, or ill-tempered. So it's not so much about a woman. This particular show, I named it because together that hateful shrew describes someone who the speaker sees as both mean-spirited and unpleasantly argumentative. It is a very strong, very negative expression, and it's often considered just disrespectful to whoever it is, which goes right along with the word hate. It is such an ugly word. I always say that word reminds me of the F word. It is just a very low vibrational word that doesn't do anything when your tone and you are angry about or depressed or sad or bitter or whatever it is, resentful. Those words don't help. They just are not helpful words. So if somebody is calling you a hateful shrew, they are really expressing anger or resentment toward you and your words or your actions, whether or not that description is fair or accurate in your truth or in your mind. If you saw the phrase in a specific context, then the conversation, the books, the dreams, the spiritual passages, or the relationship dynamic, then it becomes a little bit different in terms. Okay. So in that aspect, what is a hateful shrew? It's such a profound. And what does it do to our ego? What does it do to our mind? What does it do to our soul, our heart? How does that align our chakra patterns? How does that align with our faith and our mind power center or our love center, or our order or our will or our conditioned, our, understanding centers? So now this hate now is more than just an emotion, because hate is an emotion. But now it becomes more. It now becomes a reaction to learn a pattern of a protective mechanism that has been built by man. It's been built by man, right? And a wound. And in many spiritual traditions, that signal can literally sometimes within us is seeking that healing or that understanding of why you are so hated, or why you hate, or why the word hate is in existence. So what does hate mean? We're going to go back to the hateful shrew. Hate is an intense feeling. It's an aversion, hostility, rejection, oppression, opposite towards a person, group, situation, belief system, or even part of ourselves, right? Oh my God, I hate that person. Why? I used to. I used to be, no, I can't stand her. I hate her. I can't stand him. I hate him. I hate that he does, or I hate that she does. Oh my God, I hate that bill passed. Oh my gosh, I hate that you're taking out the penny. Oh, I hate this administration. I hate last administration. I hate that we are in war. I hate that there are military people. I hate that there are people who believe in big pharma. You hear it? How many times have you heard somebody, I hate, I hate, I hate, I hate? At its core, hate often says, I do not want this. This threatens me. This hurts me. This challenges me. It challenges everything I believe in. It challenges what I was taught. And this reminds me of pain. Wow. If you've been paying attention, America 250, paying attention and following the stories that led up to this beautiful battle, I'm going to say beautiful because everything that ends has to have a life of positive, has to show a respect. It has to show that there was an energetics that was a learned event for all. We have to understand. I say have to. You get to. You're allowed to. You don't have to, but you get to. You get to understand where the word hate and where the aggravation comes from. We get to do this. So while love tends to draw us like toward our connections, hate tends to path and push us away from connections. So when you're making a connection, there has to be more love. There, a heart center. There has to be concernment. There has to be, that will for others to bring them in. But when you have hate, there's no connection. It is complete, utter removal. Look at relationships that go through turmoil. They say hate, but it's not hate. It is disgust. It is, I'm over it. It is, I can't deal with this anymore. So their word would be, I just hate her. I hate him. Hate him, hate her, hate who, hate the dog because dog keeps. So that word then becomes your total and utter block of your heart. It's a hate. We're not to hate, period. I don't care what religion, what denomination you study. There's no hate. I don't care if you're atheist. There's no hate. There's a discernment and there's a dislike. And maybe there's a chance with discernment and dislike that you can balance. But when you utterly hate it, there's no chance. It just is. It's the lowest vibration that doesn't allow anything to build. So where is hate found in our mind centers? In psychology, they'll tell you that hate is not usually a primary emotion. Beneath hate, there's often other things such as fear, grief, shame, betrayal, rejection, helplessness, and unprocessed pain. My lands, what does that sound like, my veteran folks out there, are my active duty on the line people? When you have your own family telling you I hate war and you are on the front line to protect them, there's the grief, there's the shame, there's the betrayal, there's the rejection. And you wonder why veterans come out with PTSD. They have all of these emotions for anger, resentment, and ultimately hate. They're being shamed. They're being grief-stricken. They're being betrayed by their morals that they have been given, their own family. So be aware, be conscious of what you are saying out there, because the people who are fighting for your protection, whether you believe it or not, That St. Michael's army is doing everything to protect you from the people who hate you the most. That's deep. I know. The conscious mind may say, I hate them. The deeper mind may be saying, you hurt me. I was hurt. I felt unsafe. You put me in a bad position. I feel unseen. You never came back to me. I don't know how to process this pain. Right? Deeper minds go deep. Stay out of the hate and go deep. Because in this sense, the hate can be viewed as an emotional armor, not as an emotion of fail. Okay? So sometimes emotions of fails, emotions of armor, these all play a very prominent role. And it is a beautiful thing when all of a sudden our ego or our mind center can then relish that and going, no, that hurt. That wasn't in my head. That was in my heart. That was one of the petals. You lied to me. There's a trust. That's a petal. Constant lying. I can't deal with that. Constant mental abuse, saying negative things. So these are that sense that hate can be viewed as like emotional armor because they put it up. And so that's that word. So hate and the ego, and the ego's role is to maintain the identity and protect what it believes to keep us safe. And we always talk about the ego. There is good ego. I don't want everybody to always say, but ego is really responsible for a lot of our hate. Our ego needs to take a backseat because our ego has been conditioned by man. Man has taught us throughout the generations, throughout the eras, where are you? Are you still back in the baby boomers? Or are you in the rival 20s? Or are you in the, what's the other one? I can't. Ends in 65. I can't remember. It's the baby boomer. And then you get into the traditionals. Then you get into the Gen X's. Then you get the Gen Zers. Then you get the millennials. Then it just goes on, and you can see evolution changing. People don't like change. So there's the hate. I hate that. Why do you hate it? Because it's changing and people just in general don't appreciate change because it might be a difficult thing or it might have to cost them money. People today, unless you have computers, iPhones, and iTablets, well, what about the people who don't have the money to buy them? They're expensive. It becomes a hateful thing. Going back to, it's a hateful shrew, right? Don't like that you're changing. So now we have to understand, okay, well, nobody said you had to buy it. But understand, not a but. However, you need to understand without trying to figure out how to get some of these modalities or pieces, you may be kept in the dark. Even our television sets are going to app centers. They're no longer buying a DirecTV or a Dish Network or whatever is supporting your cable at the time, right? It's analog, not digital. So there's a major expense because things are being changed digitally to create the Wi-Fi with the satellites, right? Analogs, sometimes it was very hard to do this. So understand the rule of playing. Don't just automatically go to hate. Feel that. Okay, I want to say the word hate. Let's breathe and tap. Where is it? Why? If I don't even know anything, how could I hate it if I don't even know the whole thing about it? Digest it, process it, and come back. So the ego's role is to maintain that identity and protect what it believes for us to keep safe. No. Step aside, ego. Step aside. You're not protecting me here, right? I understand, but truly what you're doing is making me suffer. So when the ego feels threatened, it may create judgment. Well, we already know judgment's not good. Separation. Well, if you start separating, that's good for a time to process, but sooner or later, you're going to see each other. How are you going to handle it? Blame. It's everybody else's fault, but not you. You have no fault in this pattern. Superiority. Do you have an authoritative complex? Everybody who's of authority or a director or a president or a CEO, you would just naturally hate. Defensiveness. Do you just put up a block before you know the whole story? Where are you when our ego feels threatened? Find that to the core, because the ego often divides reality into right and wrong, us and them, and good and bad. Well, if we don't have a healed mind, can you see how all of a sudden we're divorcing at it's everybody else's fault, not mine? But you're angry and you're the hate one. So if you're hating and you're angry, where are these fingers going? Where you're pointing all these fingers at blaming and, at everybody else. It's on you. It's on you if you feel that hate. If it doesn't feel good, you step away from the conversation or you move out from the event or the activity or whatever you're processing. Then you don't have to feel that, right? You already know that energy. It's not good. I don't like this event energy. We remove. It is the easiest thing in life to remove yourself. There's something called FOMO out there, that new word, fear of missing out. They call it FOMO. So that can play a really heavy effect on somebody's persona if they are that person who always feels like they have to know. I was the why girl. Why? Everything was why. I couldn't get over the why. I had to know where, what happened. Still today, I understand it now. I understand why I had to do it here. I get it. But I didn't understand it then. It was really, really hard for me to understand that. So for me, I always let down my guards, right? I would like to know where that information came from. I would like to know when that's going to happen. I would like to know where is it going to be. All of these different things are incredibly difficult if you're a why girl, because you're going to get trapped within right, wrong, us, them, good, bad. You're like, wait. And it happens. It does. It happens a lot, especially when you're a why person. Normally in a why person, you're looking for solutions. Normally in a why person, you're trying to balance every radio or every path or every journey that could have an explanation. In other words, if it's in the negative, we twist it to the positive. We're always trying to find the conscious positive way of thinking. So we're trying to find that interpretation. And that's where it comes off. And so when these divisions become rigid, hate can emerge, because it will be then, not but, it's because then the ego says, I must protect myself from what I perceive as a threat. Sometimes it's right. And sometimes it's just feeling an energy that's like, oh, there's that energy, and not even allowing us to discuss what it is, because the ego put that block up. That's why I'm telling you, if you know somewhere that something isn't right, open it. Open door number 1 if you know that. What's here? Oh, no. I've already dealt with you. Open door number 2. What is this? Yeah, no. I already found a solution for that one, so just move that one away. Door number 3. Oh, what is this? This looks scary. Yeah, I'm just going to shut it. And you skip it. And you go back to the other doors that you've already know the energy, because it's common to you. That whether it's a narcissistic pattern, whether it's an abuse pattern, whether it is a nonverbal pattern that you grew up in, it's going to take you there because your mind was conditioned by man of trust. Parents, teachers, counselors, right? They were people you trust who molded you who you are. So this doesn't make the ego evil. The ego, it's not evil. It is a learned procession of conditioned. So it means that the ego is attempting to survive using the tools it has been brought to learn or taught. If you listen to my show for 74 episodes, you'll hear me say man, human man, is the cause of our emotional burdens. It's the truth, because we learn differently from our tribe. Our tribe is our family, our ancestors, right? Whatever they brought with them is what we learn. Whatever our daycare, when we send our kids to daycare, whatever they were conditioned, they're learning. Hence, if you are in a different state or a different mindset area, it's going to be different. The mindset of consciousness is going to be different because trials and tribulation of ice, snow, and cold weather. I don't have those trials and tribulations of ice, cold, in Florida the last 38 years. No, I had hurricane, rain, and torrential tropical storms. You don't have really those up in this neck of the woods. So I'm giving a simple, you see how different areas have different things. That's the easiest one I can come up with. Florida's hardly ever, under 60 degrees. It's always a beautiful weathered state unless you get into hurricane season. Then you got a lot of rain. Then you feel like you're in London, except you don't have the cold. Or Seattle with the rain. You just don't have the cold. So it depends on where you were raised, where you were brought up, and how you were brought up for your morals and everything else in order for you to move forward. So if somebody goes, I can't follow that because their morals are brought up was different. That's the interpretation. That's our perspective. That's how our mind, our ego interprets the smaller patterns. So this doesn't continue with the hate of the conditioned patterns. So when you have hate and conditioned patterns, then many forms of hate are learned. So children that aren't born hating people because of religion, because of race, because of politics, because of their social status or their wealth status or their culture, then these children who are not brought up to be that way, doesn't matter what state that they live in. But if they move to a different state, just like our beautiful Civil War, where we had the Yanks and the Confederates, now we have trouble, right? It was the battle of the minds. It was the battle to see who would win. It was the battle to see who was more dominant. It was a battle of what was right, what was wrong. Well, if that battle was truly about Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves, then I would say that the right people won. Right? We don't slave anybody. And I believe in that. So that's my truth. Somebody else would say something different, but that's my truth. Knowing the facts that I know, I hold 100. I was not born in any of these, Now my father and before him had religious, discrepancies or race, and political views. I mean, political views is something everybody has even today. Look how ugly this has become. And that's children. Children are being prompted. Children are being prompted by the state they live in, by their teachers, by their daycare people, by how they work around different people, how they shun them or they don't shun them. It works the same. If you had LGBTQ in your family, but another family didn't, it was extremely hard for LGBTQ people to come out. That's what happened to the other side. Now the military is removing the transgenders. There has to be reasons. It's not just a hateful shrew. There's reasons behind it, right? There's also different reasons around not taking them out. It is conflictions. It is a very big conflict. If I want to dress like a man, who's to tell me I can't dress like a man? If I wanted to go fishing or hunting, who's to say I can't because I'm female? I identify as she, her, or whatever they are now. That's not sarcasm. That is just making things evolve that may not necessarily be evolving. It doesn't. You are you. Give me your name. That's your name. I don't need a title. I've never had a title. People hate that. Why don't you put a title? Why do I need a title? Who's titling people except for those of power? See? I don't believe that. I believe that what you earn on merit is where you succeed. If you're not going to earn it by merit and do hard work like they brought people in to do, then I can't understand why you're hating those that do. It's troublesome. So now we have to figure out why. And so we go down through these things. These attitudes of religion, race, politics, social status, culture, monies, elite statuses, these attitudes are often conditioned through family systems. Here we go again. Communities, teaching, media, historical wounds, and personal experiences. This is where all of this, I'm not used to having a mic, all of these come through. Very, very evident. So the nervous system, our nervous system, then our brains, like, remember this pain, remember the hurt that it caused. Military here. My hair, right? Basic training. It was one of my shows. I had girls from the Bronx and Harlem and New York in my squad. They literally beat the pulp out of me because I couldn't braid my hair. I got the squad in trouble numerous times because of my hair, and they had had enough and they hated me. So I got booted in the middle of the night because of my hair. If a painful experience becomes attached to a person, group, or circumstances, the mind may generalize and create hatred as a defense mechanism. I don't hate those girls. I honor those girls because the boldness of me not wanting to cut my hair silly because it grows truly was making everybody else responsible. That was my event to learn. I was going to learn it as the hard knocks way, obviously, because I was very much the person with the thing on her shoulder who was like, okay, knock my block off. I dare you. That was who I used to be. And I honor her because she had the strength to live through some of the most traumatic times of her life. I love her for that. I love that she got her ass kicked because she was wrong. Does that make sense? I know sometimes it's hard. And, somebody goes, well, you shouldn't have to pay like that. No, should is not even a word I'm allowed to use. I understood at the time. I understood the trending at the time. I understood the relative effects of having some of these people within my realm. At that time, it encouraged me to be more empowered through strength. It empowered me to live a brighter life of an awareness. I honor that. So those girls that I used to hate because they beat me, I honoring them. When you start hating people, you start to be aware that they caused you the trouble to think in a different way. They caused you the trouble to honor a different way of thinking. They have already given you these things. So that hate is ego being forced not to want to balance or align that hate. Now, I know they're going to say, well, MJ, if somebody killed my sister, I hate them. Or if somebody killed my brother or my friend, I hate. Ooh. Yes, I understand. Very painful. It's very, very painful. And I get through this conversation a lot with a lot of happenings of, do they deserve to die? Did they deserve to get beat? What's going on? There's something happening in New York the last couple of nights I heard. And I get the questions. So what do you think of that, MJ? And I said, the moment that you say stuff like that to me is like you want to be angry with somebody who believes in reasoning, somebody who wants to believe in conscious positive, somebody who wants to believe that there has to be a moment of learning. And I also believe that you came with a list on. Now, whether you made that list asking them to be the catalyst, that's a rough call. That's on you. You asked to be there. If I knew that there was a feud going on or there was a protest going on, you would not find my ass there. Why? Because I know they're full of hate. What happens? Nothing good happens in hate. So why are you jumping on that bandwagon? It's not a peaceful protest. It's obvious. Well, it was. No protesting is peaceful, period. Sorry. People can yell at me. They can get angry. But that's how I feel. When you protest, you're not explaining. That's why they were ridiculing the no kings. There was no explaining. Like, I heard how many times this is so stupid. I hate this. What are they doing? There's no kings. Like, you hear things and you're like, oh my God. Can't you just let it go? Turn off the TV. Walk away. You're not part of it. The more you're talking about it, the more they're getting in your head. And they don't even know what the heck they're talking about half the time. We haven't had a king in the United States in forever. I don't know. It's okay. Because then they're going to say, well, this is what it meant. No, I didn't know that. No, it didn't even make sense. So it's how you were brought up is how you're going to hate. It's the conditions of your family that create that hateful seed within us. Because then we don't heal it unless something happens that is going to make you aware. Me, the Harlem girls made me aware it's not your way. And I'll be very blunt. It's not your way, bitch. And that's exactly how they said it. I had to learn that. Yep. Did I survive it? Absolutely. Did I want to go back and live it again? No. I had to learn the hard way. Hard knocks. Right? It's simple. Cut your hair off. Bam. How easy was that? Well, now I hear there's not a hair requirement thing in the military, but it's been so lackadaisical. Anyway, hate in the spiritual realm. So many spiritual traditions view hate as a state of separation. You have lost God. Father, forgive me. I've lost my way. Father, forgive them. They have lost their way. I know you hear that if you go to church or if you go to religious practices. Father, forgive me. I've lost my way. Ho'oponopono is another one. All right. The Polynesian or Tahitian in Hawaii is Ho'oponopono. That's another realm. And that realm is another beautiful realm. It is, Father, I'm sorry, dear Father, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm thankful and I love you. They're the 5 things of Ho'oponopono. So it goes right back into the spiritual realm of the hate. You don't hate. Ho'oponopono removes that. Forgive me, Father. My emotions got me. My ego got into me. So not separation normally from God alone, but through some traditional teachings. That's where the hate spirals. So rather separation from our compassion, and it's separation from our understanding, our separation from our unity of all. And it's a deeper truth that lies back in our interconnectedness. Hate. But if it's never fixed, it'll still seed. It'll still grow. It'll still manifest like cancer. Hate is a cancer. Cancer is an emotional illness, most time caused by hate, most time caused by that lower vibration on your body core frequency is now below 48 hertz to have cancer. Bad emotional illness. Very bad. And yes, it does suck. You see, cancer sucks, but emotional of hate sucks worse because it's going to lead you into these diseases. Anytime your body core frequency is lower than a 48 hertz, you are going to have some type of severe illness or severe disease. We need to keep that body frequency in our core higher. So in Christianity, hate is often seen as the opposite of love. In Buddhism, hatred is literally considered one of the 3 poisons that cloud our wisdom. In Hindu teachings, in the traditions, hatred then is considered one of the 3 poisons as well, except hatred in Hindu is often understood as arising from ignorance of our true divine nature. Across many different traditions, the teaching is remarkably just similar. When consciousness contracts into fear, separation grows. But when consciousness explains into understanding, that hatred softens, right? Because you're getting the facts. You're not getting a social media post that is made to spark your ego for hatred. It's made to do it. Politics are made for you to be divisional. They just are. Listen to their preaching. Listen to their statements. Look at what you're watching. It's made to get a nerve. What's your nerve? Where did it explode? Where did you light it? Right? The Democrats will say Republicans just aren't listening. They throw it, they ignore our demands. Are your demands ridiculous? Have they opened our borders to cause 40 million people like IRGC and Somalians who are taking the taxpayers' monies and fraudulently destroying the United States? Walking in our prime cities, New York City, LA, DC, it was disgusting for the last, 20 years. Disgusting. Hate arised. This is from hate. It's not from anything else. It is doing what somebody else wants to do in a purposeful plan not to create a balance. Yeah. It's sad. It's a sad state of affairs that we have lost our heart chakra. We have lost compassion. We have lost understanding, and we literally have lost education. Our educational system is so bad. We are at the bottom in the world for all kind of technicals, electronics. We are so busy in the last administrations in the last 20 years to remove books, and remove people and remove dates like Christopher Columbus because there was hate. You didn't learn anything. If you're removing it, you didn't learn it. Because if you learned it, you don't have to remove it. It stands as a remembrance going, man, that was a bad time. It's kind of like the castles with the medievals, right? You see the torture chambers. Well, we don't do it anymore, but they're there to remind the people who didn't live through it. Would you like to be that? No. Well, then there's your learning. But if we remove it, the hate continues. So the chakras, when we have hate, let's start associating the hate into the chakras so that when you start feeling the word hate coming out of your mouth, or you are acknowledging a hateful something or other, now let's figure this part out. Hate can affect several different energy cycles and centers in our body. When hate affects our root chakra is fear and survival wounds. I am not safe. That's the hate. It's you have fear of surviving and you're not safe. So now you hate where you're at. You hate what you're doing. You hate. Get it? So we move to our solar plexus, which is the yellow, our breadbasket. That's power, control, anger, and identity. I must defend myself. Chakra centers, the inability to give or receive love freely due to pain. My heart is closed. I just recently saw somebody, and I watched them for a while, and they'd never asked me what I saw around them or in them, nor was I willing to speak from the outside. But I finally got the chance in a discussion to tell them, you went from the lion's heart big to the Tin Man with no heart. It's just cold. It's armored. It's not allowing anybody in. It was from one side to another. There was no in between. That's the journey. It went from here, jumped, and came right over here. When somebody in their heart chakra, and you have a tin heart, and I see that is just not allowing. You do it for time. I can understand spiritualists blocking everybody's energy for time, for them to process and to figure themselves out. But day after day after day after day after day, and for years on end, that you still see it. This is a problem. This is a very, very, very big problem. And we need to handle that problem. That's in our heart. Many energetic practitioners observe that hatred often begins with fear in the lower chakras, like our root ones, our root twos, our sacral ones, or our sacral twos. So these become the fear in those lower chakras, and then they eventually harden into a closed or tinned heart. That's a lot. That's a lot to have to do. So then how is that hate going to ever be healed? That's the next question. So healing hate doesn't necessarily mean approving harmful behaviors. So compassion is not permission. Forgiveness is not forgetting. And healing begins by asking, what pain is underneath this feeling? What fear is asking to be seen, or what wound is seeking acknowledgement of being healed? So that journey then has to include then awareness, because if these are what your questions would need to be, they really do. They need to be these questions. What pain is underneath my feeling? And what is the fear that is being asked of me? And then the wound is seeking acknowledgement. So when I have these three, now I have to sit my awareness, my understanding, my compassion, my release, my love, and my spiritual perspective. Well, in my awareness, it must recognize the emotion without denying it. No matter how difficult, maybe it is on me. Maybe that's how it worked. Maybe that is on me and I wasn't aware of it. So the awareness is now recognizing the emotion without denying the event of the emotion. Even if I caused it intentionally or intentionally. Then you have the understanding, discovering its roots. Where did this come from? Why does that make me angry? Have I been hurt in the past with this? Where is this event in my life? Is this a new event? Is this a pattern that I'm seeking? And then it becomes the understanding. Oof. Right? So the understanding is discovering where the roots are to get to the seeds so that we can heal it. And then it goes back to, I love my word, compassion. Offering that grace to ourselves and others. Compassion. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I'm sorry, I didn't have this information. I apologize on my actions. I had no idea that what we were saying was the opposite of our logics moving forward. These are the compassions. And then we go into the release. Choosing not to let the wound define our future, right? An example for people who are probably older than 40 and older, and sometimes even those between 30 and 40 would have gotten this on the Gen Xer families who weren't healed, which is children are to be seen and not heard. Well, guess what? When you're no longer a child and you're an adult, you got a lot to say. You have a lot of anger buildup. You have a lot of resentment buildup. You have a lot of dysfunction buildup because children were to be seen and not heard. So what did the world do? The world now allows the children to be heard and for whatever they want to talk about. So now we've gone from this side of no to this side of allow. Where's the middle? Where's the middle grounds? You can, but you may not be disrespectful. You may speak, but you may watch your tones and your words. Where are those people teaching that? Okay, I understand you're angry, but these are your tones and words. Are you sure you want to say, I hate that person, I hate your teacher, I hate this, I hate the school, I hate math, I hate daycare, I hate, like, these are kids. Where did they learn the word hate? Let's put it back there. Somebody taught them that word. Was it the parents? I don't know. Compassion. Offering the grace to ourselves and others. Releasing. Choose to let that wound define our future. We're choosing not to allow that. I understand. Thank you for the learning. This is not going to happen. And we remove ourselves. And then we have love. Not as a feeling first, but as a practice. Ooh, but. Mary Jo. Not love is not as a feeling. However, it's used as a practice. Love can only mean 1/3. Love is love. Love is love. No, I love my brother. No, love like I love my mother. No, love is love. Love is love. When you say I love you to somebody, that is your 12 petals of your heart saying, I'm honoring you. I love you. Right? I love my job. I love my retirement. I love that I was a veteran. I love that I had my children. I love that my father lived his life path until he left. I love that he's back with our Lord and Savior. I love that he's with my ancestors who's crossed. Love. Love not as a feeling first. Love as a practice. If you can love, there's no hate. There's discernment and there's questions, but there's not hate. Love is very important. Many spiritual teachers suggest that hate is not the opposite of love. Indifference is. Right? So hate and love, they're not opposite. I understand that's what we were taught, but hate comes with indifference. Hate often indicates that a strong, energetic connection still exists. Hate. Love indicates a very strong, energetic connection that exists too. So if you have the same person who claims love, but also claims hate, then you can ask them, how can you hate when you can commit to love? If you can commit to love, why aren't we committing to this hate thing? Why is there commitment? Ask yourself. If I can truly say I love, and you know if you love because you have grief, if you love. And why do we have grief? Because we didn't have faith. That's another show. But hate, let's go back to it. Love is not the opposite of hate. Indifference is. Hate often indicates that a strong, energetic connection still exists. When healing that occurs, hated frequently transforms into understanding, accepting, neutralizing, balancing, wisdom beyond what you already had, and compassion. So to heal the hate, then we have to have understanding, acceptance, balance, neutrality, wisdom, and compassion. When we get these, we are unstoppable. We are in such a high vibration that hate can't exist. The goal is not necessarily to love every person who has harmed us. The goal is freedom. Freedom from carrying that wound. Makes sense? Right? You've been hurt. Our hurt to our ego automatically creates the ego of hate. We have to step back. If we have that word, where's our understanding? Where's our acceptance? Where's our balance, alignment, neutrality? Where's our wisdom? And where's our compassion? Step back. I do it a lot. Even with my own family reunions coming up, right? Here's the big summer. How many times do we talk about this? Understanding, acceptance, neutrality, wisdom, and compassion. I make my decision for those who have removed me as a friend because they can't understand who I am anymore. Or those who don't like me to speak my truth. That's okay. Or for me, who tries to explain what they're saying isn't truth. And that's the problem. People don't want to be told that's not the truth. But why do I want to be told to listen to something that's false? See the balance? You can hate something because I'm telling you it's not true and you want it to be true. But if you hate me because I'm telling you that's not true, these are the congressional libraries. This is what was said. There are, what do they call that? Stenographers? It's typed. It's an inversion of evolving in this lifetime. And maybe there are more 40-year-olds and up in the world that can't align with this, or maybe it's plausible that we've allowed so many different realms of belief systems that there's too much for our nervous systems to settle in. I'm going to say it that way. Again, the goal is not necessarily to love every person who has harmed us. The goal is freedom, and freedom from carrying that wound, freedom for allowing another person's actions to dictate our inner state. We call that face yourself, Hamsaka-san. Face yourself. Face it. If I get angry because you said something, it's on me. If you said something and I have discernment and I can understand to show you something, where is your acceptance of understanding that maybe your words are not true? Or maybe your words were muffled, whoever you got your information from. It all perceives down into hate. What you watch on TV, mainstream media, social medias, the headlines are call to actions. They are meant to hit your psyche, mentalities, egos. Be aware of it. Once you're aware of it, pay no mind. Step back. Do your own work. Don't be a lazy citizen of the United States. Nobody wants that. Do due diligence. Be proud. Be proud. Right? Freedom to live from the heart rather than from the injury. When we look at our injuries, our veterans, it reminds us what we gave, and it reminds us that those people who hate the military, or who hate what we did, or we hate what we did, or we don't understand. But you had the choice. If you're a veteran who hates your administration, or you hate that there is the Iran going on, or you either A, never have been on a line, or two, you don't understand why you were on the line. You either joined the military, not understanding that you could be part of St. Michael's Army and defending those in our country, man, and God. I know it's really hard to believe and understand, especially for those who are so painfully hurt. But it is the truth. It doesn't matter who your administration is. Man, country, God. And we do the morals, right? We honor, we the people, our preamble, our constitutions. So we don't have to have the hate. Somebody says, well, the hate, look at the hate. You're killing Iranians. No, we went after and targeted different things. Be aware of the processes. Don't be a hater. Open up your eyes and look. Don't be so closed into social medias. Please. It's if you could hate somebody you don't even know, then you could have a dark soul. It's just how it is. To be that much hate on a daily, look at the people who have this much hate. They don't have them. They're not affected monetarily. They're not being affected by X, Y, and Z. They're still living the life that they live. They still have the money. They're still doing stuff, but they hate. I have to laugh because I'm like, do you hear yourself? Do you really hear yourself? Hating is not fixing. It never will fix it. Hating keeps you suffering. Hating keeps you mournful, in grief, in sadness, in depression, and anxiety, and stress. It keeps you in a lower vibration. And guess what that lower vibration then does to your health? That's right. High blood pressures. Your organs go down. You start be on meds for depression. And now those meds are creating problems in your inner organs, your somatic systems. Understand you can heal hate, because hate was given to you as a concept. Hate. It was conditioned in your mind centers. It was conditioned of who you were brought up within the circles, your area, your family, your community, your state, your region, your nationals, your internationals. All of this created this division. Fight it. Work above it to the highest level of love in your heart. You can do it. So, as a reflection, what's my reflection? A question that is often used in my counseling is, what would this hatred teach me if it could speak? What was it going to teach me? Sometimes the answer is setting of boundaries, acknowledging the pain, taking your part, being aware of your part. Father, forgive me, I've lost my way. Grieve what was lost. Learn your self-worth. Reclaim your voice for the child who says you're to be seen, not heard. And open your heart again. Allow your heart to open. People say, no, I don't want to be hurt. Well, you are hurting yourself. When you close your heart, you're hurting yourself. I had to learn that. I didn't want to be hurt anymore. I closed my heart, made a man wall. Thank God for Ozzy, who said he's going to knock it down. He only knocked it down to then have to teach me more lessons about men and female. But he did. Taught me a lot. And when I can be that open to understand, then I can be in that awareness. If I can't process and find a small hiccup of where I could change my own thought processes and my own thinking and my own awareness, I tend to back away. I be that, setting my boundaries, going, I don't have FOMO. I could care less if I'm there or not. But I love to honor people. So if you have an event and there's not an honoring for those people, then don't expect them to have a highest admiration either. Because you've left them out. That's a heart chakra. Feeling alone, abandoned, not wanted. Right? Family reunions, everybody's getting emails but you. Huh. But you've already put it out there. Family reunions, no texts, no emails. Right? And because of political reasons, the person who handles it, well, guess what? They removed you as friend. So they could say, well, we posted it. No, you didn't. Did you post it for public and everybody? Because if you are not a friend and you removed yourself from a family member, you're not on that list anymore. So social medias will no longer be able to be seen. Do I hate? No. I honor, because I became aware of the energy, whether it's family or friends. And I'm going to tell you, folks, family is the one who's going to hurt you the most every time. It's family, not really friends. It's family. Because your heart of your family is not supposed to hurt. But they have their own journeys, and they have their own values, and they have their own morals, and they have their own way of looking, no matter if you're in a family unit or not. So if you have a family who does things like this, they're unhealed. It's okay. Sooner or later, they're still going to be unhealed, unless they really truly get help or somebody points it out. But if you pat them on the back and say it's okay, and you walk away and don't actually help them learn a lesson of life or introduce them to a different perspective, then what happens? So again, reclaim your voice, reclaim your boundaries, reclaim your worth, and open up that heart. Because when you can speak of love and not hate, the world is your oyster, and you're that beautiful pearl. So every time the word hate comes out of your mouth, become aware and say, wait, I'm discerned. I dislike, I don't hate. Because every time I use that word, it blackens my heart. And I'm about love. I'm about peace and laughter and happiness. But if people can't get over themselves, I don't need to suffer with it. I don't have to be there. It's a shame, but I don't have to be. It's okay. And I now can do that. Smiles and awe. It's not my place. It's not my time. Thank you, God, for my awareness. Thank you, God, for allowing me to get over that. Grief hurts. Grief will always hurt. And the lessons that we learned and the energy that was once fueled hate often becomes wisdom, discernment, strength, and compassion. For many people, to share an observation, it can feel as though the word hate has become more common in everyday conversations in public discourse and online interactions, computers, social medias, gatherings. Whether hate itself is increasing, it is difficult to measure, yet several factors can make it seem more visible or more intense. So, what does that mean, Mary Jo? Let me go and break this down. So, information moves very fast, faster than wisdom, really, right? It's kind of like, have you ever like said something and before you knew it, you had like 5 phone calls? You're like, holy shit, that got out quick, right? So, information sometimes does move faster than acknowledgement of wisdom. So human beings always have experiences this conflict of fear, prejudices, or divisions. And so it's that first fear that has to react into a hate scenario. What is different today is that the speed of which those emotions are catching them. So the politics that are pissing people off, that are in everybody's face, think about it. Before 2008, you really didn't hear too much because our social medias weren't there. Remember that? I think they were 2006 social media started. So before it was like, oh yeah, election year, and you'd have your newspaper, it'd be in your newspapers, right? Or sometimes in your congregations, why politics are in churches, I have no idea, or religions, but sometimes they would be in there, the Democrats. Or you go to a fair. Oh my gosh, I have a discernment. When you go to the fair and you see predominantly a political booth or a running of a mayor or a governor, any of it, you don't belong in a fair. A fair is for people to relax and have fun. Why are you putting this at a fair? To cause hate and negative at a happy event? That's how I see it. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, I don't give a shit. Why are you doing that? They're not there for political views. They're there to go to tractor races or demolition derbies or, horse races or, carnival games or to bring money in for the volunteer fire departments. Like, this is what it is. Why are you bringing politics to it? Shame on you. Shame on you. Because you're deriving the hate. You're further embedding that hate. So what is the difference today that speeds that emotions up? Social media. It is what it is. A person's angry can reach millions within minutes by provoking a title. Do you know who's really bad at that? I'm going to call them out. WNEP, Channel 16 in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. Horrible. Horrible. Your headliners are upsetting people. Just the headlines. And I constantly write to the editor, why can't you make a headline more balanced? Why can't you create a happy twofold area? Pennsylvania is a Democratic state. Only because of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Other than that, it'd be a Republican state. Either way, I don't give a shit. As long as you have morals and compass of love. I don't care who you are. But that's not what it is. When you have people like Governor Shapiro, that's not quite what we got, right? We have somebody, and I don't care who you are, Republican or Democrat, there's fraud in all of it. And I'm glad that the fraud is being captured. And I hope that everybody becomes aware of why things are the way they are. Not hate, become aware and going, okay, let's figure out now who our commissioners are going to be or who the people leading up going into this is going to be. Do a little bit more due diligence, not just political affiliation. That might help sometimes. That's why sometimes being an independent is a better choice, right? Who is the best to suit my needs? That's what democracy is. That's what we, the people, 250 years ago, we get to have a voice. And our voice gets to have it. But if we lose, then we're good sportsmen about it and say, okay, well, in 4 years, I get to vote again. And the people who lost, they get to vote again and encourage those other people to say, listen, this is how I see this. Can you help me? How do you see this? Not argumentative and calling people maggots and dummies and ignorance and all these other hateful, shrew words. No. So now every time I see somebody who puts those types of things, hello, my hateful shrew. How are you today? Is that what you want me to do? Because I can do it. But and then I'll laugh just like that with that little sarcastic laugh because it'll be, I look like Ursula in The Little Mermaid. You poor unfortunate soul in need. But that's where it gets to. Think about it. How many days, months, weeks are you going to complain and be angry, hateful, and ugly? Hurting yourself because the rest of the people are just going on living. Said your point, make your peace, move on. Keep moving. Asking questions. A person's angry who reaches these, then it's outrage that receives that more attention than understanding. And then there's fear that then often travels faster than that compassion can even keep up. This is why we have the energies that we have. As a result, we get exposed for far more expressions of hostility and previous generationals of ever that has been witnessed. We're the product. Gen Xers, Gen Zers, millennials, we're the product of the dysfunction of our world. We are. Take our place. Create the love, the balance back. Stop being the sheep and following that hatred. Stop. That's all it is. People are carrying unresolved pain, and it's increasing in their hate. Many individuals are navigating financial stress. And now they want to blame somebody and they want to hate them because they could not have put themselves in this financial stress. It has to be somebody else. Not that your education, not that what you were doing in your path at the time that you chose that path may not be working for you today. But you want to blame somebody. Loss and grief. Well, loss and grief, you can't blame God for losing people. Man has been lost every day of every life of every second of every time this earth turns. There is loss of life. It is the way it is. You cannot hate that. It is the way it is. A death is caused, and we wrote it. No matter what, believe that has faith. There's a reason. Maybe we can't understand the reason because we don't have faith. But faith and hate do not go together. Pick one. Certainty about the future. Well, if you are stuck in a roadblock and you're not sure about anything about where you're going and you're going down in a rabbit hole, then I suggest you get help. Figure it out. A friend, a family, a counselor, a spiritualist, a priest, somebody, an HR person, maybe one of the director counselors at school, helping you move forward. Social isolation. I'm just not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to stay in my room. I'm going to turn off all social medias. I'm going to turn off the TVs. I'm not going to do anything. Okay. Humans are not made to be alone. Humans were made to interact. So now you're cutting off a human existence because of the hatred that you can't balance. Be mindful of your social isolation. I love the people who all of a sudden you don't see them on Facebook because they put themselves inactive. And then you realize they're not inactive. They unfriended you because of your belief systems. So underminingly, what are they doing? Sounds like a kindergarten. You're not my friend no more because you don't like what I like. And you took my red crayon and I want my red crayon. Is that what that is? Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I'm sorry. Because people just aren't healed and you got to learn to heal it. You really do. And of course, the last is many people are navigating through family divisions. Yes. Big time. Because the belief systems don't match. You taught me one thing and you're saying another. How does that work? How does this possibly work? I can't understand it. So pain that is not processed can become anger. And anger that is not understood can become resentment. Resentment, then, that is repetitively reinforced, can become hatred. If you constantly are doing it, it's becoming that nickel-plated hatred. Often what appears to be hate is suffering looking for a target. I'm mad, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, I'm full of hate, I'm full of sadness, I'm full of this. And so I need someone to blame it on, and I'm going to pick you today. I'm going to pick you, and I'm going to hate you today because somebody needs to be, I need to get. So now we have a buildup of this hate, and we don't care who we go after, and we justify it by our egos and our judgments. And that's how we're justifying this, to be able to be mad at them and then make demands upon them to make you happy. What are we doing? What are we thinking about? Are you hearing? Are you listening? Are you becoming aware? Are you observing this? Higher consciousness, higher vibration brings higher consciousness of love, of kindness, of balance, of awareness, of understanding, of compassion. So we are living through rapid change. I told you in the beginning, change affects everybody. People do not like change. Old dog, new tricks. It can be. But I think the older you get, and I'm one of them, the older I get, I don't care. It hurt me. To me, it hurt me to back away from the computer world. You can ask anybody in MBR. This morning, I couldn't get my headsets to hear Joel on the other side. Here's this thing, right? It's not his responsibility. It's his. MBR belongs to him. He's the owner. However, it's not his responsibility for my lack of education of computers. But because he has so much love and compassion, and he opened this for the veterans to show them a new way, he puts himself out 20 hours of a day, because it's all different time zones, it's all different people. And he could get angry very quickly at veterans who are just taking his parcels and his kindness. Do you understand? He's choosing not to. He's choosing to work through these things. Makes sense, right? This morning, I'm like, it's okay. However, it's going to look on the camera today, and I know I see those little fuzzies, kind of going with it. It's all going to work itself out, and it's going to be the way it's supposed to be sooner or later. I'll get used to my hands not hitting the mic. I'll get used to the lights being in my face. I had practice this weekend with my mother's phone, her notifications. Some for whatever, I think my sister put it in there for her. She now has it, the flash, and goes off because she can't hear the ring, and I understand it. Oh my gosh, it blinded me, and I had a lemon in my hand. I was just squeezing a lemon, so of course I went like that with my eye, and then the lemon, and then the whole thing was just a watery, bloodshot mess. Looked like something stabbed me in the eye, because her phone was so close to my eye when it went off. It was funny, hysterically at the time. But you can see the realm of if I couldn't, you can understand somebody's anger at the time and hate. I wasn't angry, I just started laughing because it was just so funny. But I can understand it. So throughout history, we have the periods of major social, economic, technological, and cultural changing that has created such a diverse energy. And that diverse energy creates then the anxiety of not knowing. Okay? But we can if we want to. I don't know if I want to learn it. I don't have a fear of it. I would rather feel God's grace and the earth's energy and study quantum physics before I would study AI and IT stuff. Isn't that sad? Maybe for some, but for me, I feel freedom. I feel free because I get home and I saw my husband this weekend after I didn't see him. He's angry. He goes, look at this. He's all in the TV. I was like, How's that affecting you? That's all I said. How's that affecting you? You're not there. You're not in New Jersey. You're your sister. Well, okay. Well, maybe they're seeing it. It's not affecting you. Right now, where it's taking place, they're not near. I understand your heart because you're a family, but you're really going in deep. How many of you have watched the news and went in deep like that? There it is, right? When people feel uncertain, then we often seek certainty. We have to find certainty. We have to feel safe. We have to feel safe. Really, is the word safe. When we feel safe and we don't have all these others, negatives, our lower vibrations, then we just feel love. It's the only ultimate reason for our existence. So when people feel fearful, they may then become more attached to identities or belief systems or groups when they become associated into social peering. Today's world, people go into social, but then they get hooked up because of media and all the other things, and then they get in these debacles and they stop doing social, right? It's happening because we haven't become aware of what we say, how we say, or our boundaries. Not saying that you can't be a Democrat. I'm not saying you can't be a Republican. And I'm not saying you can't be independent. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the words hate versus love, right? And where it comes from and why we have this emotion. That's what I'm trying to talk to you about. And it's the vision of overall. So this can create an us versus them scenario when we want to split. And then mentally, that deepens that division. So then the human nervous system becomes now this overloading of energetic powers. And then the human brain was not designed to process all these problems for the entire world, every hour of every day of every second. You are being forced with it because you choose to not just step away. Step away. If something is happening on the other side of the world and our American troops are there, we observe it. Be the observer without speaking. I'm being the observer. If I don't understand, I'm going to go and I'm going to learn it. I'm not going to look on social medias. I'm not going to look on these things because they're not the truth. You never know what the truth is. Oh, well, it's a really good. I love when people tell me the Wall Street Journal. Okay. Just for anybody who doesn't know out there what you're reading, if you are a Wall Street journalist, the Wall Street Journal was generally written for grade levels 11 and 12 for college and professional reading levels. So if you're reading the Wall Street Journal, you're reading only on 11th or 12th grade level. If you are reading the New York Times, you're reading a 10th to a 12th grade level. If you're reading your hometown papers, your hometown newspapers, or your hometown advisory boards, guess what, folks? You're only mentally reading a 6th to 8th grade level reading. Period. And it's going to keep you in that period. Why? Because it is governed by the proximity of systems and stems of your audience sizes, your geographic locations, and your reach, and your depth of your topic of coverage to allow those who are from a lower learning group to the most highest learning group. So the Wall Street Journal doesn't want anybody in a lower reading group to read their newspaper because they can't understand it. It's only was made through, I can't remember the word. Let me look at, so the Wall Street Journal uses Flesch-Kincaid Index to gauge the readability. So if you did not graduate, you'll have a very hard time with the Wall Street Journal. Are you segregating? Are they segregating people? I would say no. Wherever your learning exists is where it needs to be. So if the Wall Street Journal really wanted something out there for everybody to be able to read and understand and know, they will not write it in 11th or 12th grade mindset of grammar. They'll write it in a 6th to 8th grade mindset standard. Make sense? But they won't, because it's Wall Street Journal. So they like to use words to confuse. And it's proven. I'm not saying anything you don't know. People get mad when I say it, but it's the truth. You can look on all your other forums and how many times that they have been sued because of defamation, because they're trying to use big words for the elites to understand, but not necessarily those who are not so scholastic. Make sense? It was a thought process when I was going through. But anyway, the human brain does not design to process the problems of the entire world every second of every day. And that is where you go through now the problem. So sometimes for people who are constantly on podcasts on a daily basis talking about the government, you can see why they have heart attacks. You can see why they have strokes. You can see why they have hypertension. You can see why their health is failing them out of nowhere, right? Constant exposure to conflict can leave people feeling defensive, exhausted, reactive, and cynical. When that nervous system remains inactivated for long periods of time, compassion becomes harder than to access. So for spiritual traditions of teaching the collective consciousness reflects the inner conditions of the individual. So when fear grows, separation grows. When separation grows, judgment grows. When judgment grows, compassion diminishes, and so does love. From the perspective, collective hatred is not merely a social problem. It's also a spiritual signal to be aware of. It invites humanity to ask itself, what are you afraid of? What are we afraid of? What have we forgotten about ourselves and the others? And what wounds have not been healed within us and others? A collective cannot be healed by force. It is healed through millions of individual choices. Speak differently. Your words carry energy, and your words carry your source. Practice compassion without losing discernment. Compassion does not require agreeing. I'm going to say it again. Compassion does not require agreements or agreeing. You can understand someone's humanity while rejecting harmful actions of their humanities, whether their voice tones, whatever. Compassion asks, what pain might be underneath this behavior? Discernment asks, what boundaries do I need here? Both are necessary with the anger of the energies of the world at the moment. Healing personal wounds. Collective healing begins with personal healing. Every resentment released, every forgiveness offered, and every unhealthy pattern transforms, contributes to a larger whole. Many spiritual traditions teach that inner peace is not separation from world peace. That building of your genuine human connection, hate thrives in distance. That's why you see so many people on social media with hate, because they're not facing you. They're not in front of you. They're not talking to your face. They're behind a screen. So understanding grows in relationships. When people share stories, meals, struggles, dreams, labels often fall away. You label somebody until you heard their story. Everybody has a story. So become what it is that you wish to see. More patience, more listening, more kindness, more courage, more compassion. Think about when people cut you off and don't like you or hate you. You would say, God, could you just give me a minute to listen to what I'm trying to, that's not what I meant. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. You're not listening. Could you just understand what I'm going through? Not because one person changes everything. Yeah, it's because every collective is made of individuals and their own journeys. So the spiritual reflection, imagine humanity as a vast body. When one part of our body is injured, the whole body feels the effect of it. We compensate. The answer is not to hate. that wounded part of us? The answer is to bring healing into it. So when we hate, we bring the healing into the hate. We associate that where it stems of that hate. Where's that root? Where's that seed? And we want to go directly there. Many teachers, spiritual teachers across different traditions have expressed that a similar truth, which is darkness is not removed by more darkness. Fear is not healed by more fear, and hatred is not transformed by more hatred. The collective heals even though the people choose awareness over reaction, and understanding over assumptions, and compassion over condemnation. That does not happen all at once. It happens. Okay. So in a collective healing, let me go back. In collective healing, it doesn't all happen at one shot. It happens conversation by conversation, family member by family member, community by community, and heart by heart. You ever hear somebody hug and I said, now give me your heart when you hug, heart to heart? Most people hug on the right side, and change it. I want your heart. Change it. I want you to feel my heart because I love you. Hug them on the left. In that sense, collective healing is not a destination. It's a practice humanity renews every day. Every day. So the next time you use the word hate, or you hear the word hate, start thinking, where's the compassion? Where's the understanding? Where's the mindfulness? Where is it? What do I have to do? I'm gonna leave on that. That's a lot. Find love, find kindness, find compassion, find understanding, find balance, find strength, find order, and you got it. If you're still stuck, unpacked all that is stacked on a trauma, maybe you're looking at something that is just the tip of the iceberg and not the full iceberg. Okay, folks, be mindful in our words. Our heart is always open, and be service to others. That's how you stay in conscious, positive awareness and thinking. When we can understand the compassion and the trouble and somebody else's story, that maybe we don't see the full picture. I'm MJ, aka Mary Jo. I'm right here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking on mbradio.us. May the angels carry you home and protect you with abundance of love, passion, happiness, and all that it is that you deserve and desire most. I will see you next week, Monday. I promise this time, next week, Monday. I can't promise because there's so many free will. But normally I'm here every Monday at 9 a.m. I said last week, but then I was like, oh my gosh, that just creeped up on me. And I didn't realize it was memorial. So here's my memorial. There it is. My heart. I love you. I love the United States of America. Happy birthday, America. And get your flags out. Get your red, white, and blues out. And be proud of who you are and where you are and what you've learned already. Yes, we have so much to learn as humans, but we got the power to do it. So I'll see you next week right here. Same time, same bat channel. And away we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.